Weapons lock. South China Sea, 140 nautical miles west of Palawan, Philippines, 1547 hours local time. USS Ronald Reagan Carrier Strike Group conducts routine freedom of navigation operations, international waters, legal transit rights. Then, fire control radar illuminates the carrier, Chinese Type 052D destroyer. Active targeting, weapons lock established. But no missile launch, no visible aggression, just continuous targeting radar painting American supercarrier. Combat Information Center erupts, threat warning systems screaming, officers shouting reports, captain reaching for strike authorization. This is how wars start: miscalculation, misunderstanding, weapons locked on target, fingers on triggers. Pentagon Alert, where we expose the brinkmanship that nearly triggers conflict. Welcome back. What I'm about to reveal represents the most dangerous carrier confrontation since the Cold War. Chinese destroyer, active missile guidance, tracking U.S. carrier, finger on the launch button. Americans preparing counterstrike, rules of engagement tested, crisis seconds from escalation. This was an exercise. This was an accident. This was deliberate provocation that almost started shooting war. Let me show you exactly what happened. The Carrier Group. USS Ronald Reagan, Nimitz-class supercarrier, 100,000 tons displacement, crew of 5,200 personnel, 70 aircraft embarked. Carrier Strike Group 5, forward deployed to Yokosuka, Japan, most combat-ready U.S. naval force in Indo-Pacific. Escort ships, USS Shiloh, Ticonderoga-class cruiser with Aegis combat system, USS Howard, Arleigh Burke-class destroyer with advanced air defense, USS Sterett, another Burke destroyer, USS Rafael Peralta rounding out destroyer screen. Underwater protection, USS Asheville, Los Angeles-class attack submarine, running silent escort. This is $25 billion in naval power, 10,000 personnel, enough firepower to devastate entire nations. And someone just locked weapons on them. The Chinese presence. PLA Navy had been shadowing Carrier Group for 3 days. Standard procedure when American carriers enter South China Sea. Type 052D destroyer. Taiyuan, hull number 131, 7,500 tons displacement, commissioned 2019, most advanced air defense destroyer in Chinese fleet. Armed with 64 vertical launch cells, HHQ-9 surface-to-air missiles, YJ-18 anti-ship cruise missiles, advanced phased array radar systems. Captain. Senior Captain Liu Zheng, 28-year PLA Navy veteran, former submarine officer, known hardliner, reputation for aggressive tactics. Taiyuan had maintained respectful 20 nautical mile distance, monitored American movements, professional surveillance, nothing unusual. Until now. Which naval weapon is most dangerous to carriers? A. Anti-ship missiles. B. Torpedoes. C. Aircraft. The illumination. Combat Information Center aboard Reagan. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Torres monitors tactical display. 23 contacts tracked, all standard commercial and military traffic. Then new symbol appears. Chinese destroyer. Distance 18 miles. Course converging. Speed increasing to 28 knots. Torres reports to Tactical Action Officer. TAO acknowledges, maintains vigilant watch. Chinese often approach, then break off. At 15 miles, Taiyuan activates fire control radar, Type 346A active phased array, multiple frequency bands, extremely powerful. Reagan's ANSLQ-32 electronic warfare system detects illumination immediately. Threat warning alarm activates throughout ship. Torres's screen erupts in red symbols. Captain, we have weapons quality radar lock from Chinese destroyer. Fire control radar active. This changes everything. Fire control radar means targeting for weapons launch. This is pre-attack phase. This is threat. The response. Captain Richard Stanton races to bridge. 34-year Navy veteran. 3 combat deployments. Never faced this exact situation. Report, he barks at Tao. Chinese destroyer has us locked with fire control radar. Continuous illumination. No missile launch detected yet. Weapons posture appears ready, but held. Stanton evaluates instantly. This is either training exercise China forgot to announce, or deliberate provocation, or actual pre-attack sequence. Can't assume which, must prepare for worst case. Sound general quarters, launch alert fighters, bring Aegis online, prepare for evasive maneuvers. Alarm sounds throughout carrier, crew races to battle stations. Reagan transforms from routine operations to combat ready in 90 seconds. Stay with me. What happens next determines whether this becomes diplomatic incident or shooting war. The weapons status. USS Shiloh, Aegis cruiser in escort screen, immediately assumes air defense commander role. Captain Jennifer Walsh has split-second decisions to make. Do we have launch indication? Any missile doors opening? Negative, Captain. VLS cells remain closed, but fire control radar continuous. They're definitely tracking Reagan. Walsh faces terrible calculus. If Chinese launch missiles, she has maybe 60 seconds response time. Anti-ship cruise missiles at 600 plus mph give almost no warning. Standard doctrine. Illuminate U.S. carrier with fire control radar constitutes hostile act, justifies defensive response. But firing first without actual attack could trigger international incident, maybe start war. But waiting too long means Reagan takes hits. 5,200 sailors die. Walsh makes decision. Weapons-free status. Lock our fire control on Chinese destroyer. Show them we can hit back. Deterrence through mutual threat. Shiloh's SPY-1 radar activates. Powerful beam strikes Taiyuan. SM-2 missiles ready. Targeting solution locked. Now both ships have each other locked. Mutual weapons targeting. Hair trigger standoff. The communication. Reagan's radio operator attempts contact. Standard maritime band, English and Chinese. Chinese warship, Taiyuan. This is United States Navy carrier Ronald Reagan. You are illuminating us with fire control radar. This is hostile act. Cease immediately and stand down. No response. The Chinese destroyer maintains radar lock, continues tracking. Stanton tries again, more forceful. Chinese vessel, you are creating dangerous situation. Disengage fire control radar now, or we will interpret as hostile intent. Finally response comes, heavily accented English, cold tone. U.S. vessel, you are operating in Chinese territorial waters. You will depart immediately. We are conducting legitimate defense exercise. Continue your course and face consequences. Stanton's jaw clenches. We are in international waters, Philippine exclusive economic zone, not Chinese territory. You have no authority here. Your interpretation incorrect. Depart now. Diplomatic impasse, neither side backing down, weapons locked, tension escalating. The alert fighters. Flight deck. 2 FA-18E Super Hornets on catapults, armed with AIM-120 air-to-air missiles, AGM-88 anti-radiation missiles for striking radar systems. Lieutenant Commander Marcus Kane leads division. Call sign Razor. 180 carrier landings. Combat veteran from Syria operations. Razor flight, cleared for immediate launch. Chinese destroyer has us locked. Your mission: show presence, establish air superiority, prepare to engage surface target if ordered. Kane acknowledges, this is real, this is happening. Catapult fires, 60,000 pounds of thrust. Aircraft accelerates from 0 to 165 mph in 2 seconds. Airborne. Second Hornet launches 45 seconds later. Both aircraft climb rapidly, form tactical spread, head toward Chinese destroyer. Visual message: we can strike you from air. You can't defend carrier and protect yourself simultaneously. Back down. How fast can carrier-based fighters respond to threats? A. 2 minutes. B. 5 minutes. C. 10 minutes. The Chinese calculation. Aboard Taiyuan, Captain Liu watches American response. Carrier at general quarters. Cruiser locked weapons on him. Fighters airborne. His orders were clear. Demonstrate Chinese resolve. Show Americans they're not safe in South China Sea. Establish precedent for active defense. But orders also emphasized, do not trigger actual combat. This is psychological operation, political theater, not war initiation. Liu maintains radar lock, but doesn't open VLS doors, doesn't activate missile seekers, stays just below threshold of actual attack preparation. Walking Razor's edge, demonstrating capability without crossing line into war. But Americans don't know his intent. They see only weapons lock. They must assume worst case. The escalation ladder. Pentagon receives flash message within 6 minutes. Chinese destroyer locking U.S. carrier. Potential combat situation developing. National Military Command Center activates. Chairman of Joint Chiefs notified. Secretary of Defense briefed. President informed. Options presented rapidly. Option 1. Order Reagan to depart area. Avoid confrontation. De-escalate through withdrawal. Option 2. Maintain position. Show resolve. Don't reward Chinese aggression through retreat. Option 3. Authorize counterstrike if Chinese maintain radar lock. Establish red line. Decision comes in 12 minutes. Option 2. Maintain position, but authorize defensive strike if any Chinese missile doors open. Reagan receives updated rules of engagement. Clear authority. Any sign of actual attack preparation, strike first. The submarine factor. USS Asheville, running silent at 400 feet depth, tracks different threat. Chinese Type 093 attack submarine detected 25 miles from carrier group. Commander Patricia Foster monitors contact. Submarine moving slowly, not attacking profile, but positioned between Chinese destroyer and American carrier. Foster reports to Reagan. Another complication. Surface standoff now has underwater dimension. If shooting starts, that Chinese submarine could launch torpedoes, could hit Reagan before anyone responds. But Foster has solution. Asheville maneuvered to optimal attack position. Mk-48 torpedoes ready. Can destroy Chinese submarine in 90 seconds if necessary. Submarine warfare. Silent. Deadly. No warning. No second chances. If you believe carrier groups represent ultimate naval power, type Pentagon Alert. The fighter presence. Kane's Super Hornets reach position 5 miles from Chinese destroyer. Tactical spread. 1 high, 1 low. Overlapping fields of fire. Razor 1 has visual on Chinese surface combatant. Destroyer type. Active radar emissions confirmed. Multiple weapon systems visible. Kane activates targeting pod. Electro-optical zoom. He can see Chinese sailors on deck. See radar arrays rotating. See VLS hatches. Everything. Razor 2, take high station. I'm going low profile. Show them our weapons. Kane descends to 1,000 feet. Flies past Chinese destroyer at 450 knots. Wings loaded with missiles clearly visible. Message delivered. We can kill you before your missiles reach carrier. Are you sure you want this fight? The breaking point. 16 minutes into crisis. Chinese radar still locked on Reagan. American weapons locked on Chinese destroyer. Fighters orbiting overhead. Submarines positioning underwater. Any mistake triggers combat. Nervous operator. Misinterpreted order. Equipment malfunction. Accidental launch. Everyone knows this. Everyone terrified. But nobody willing to back down first. Stanton makes decision. Call Beijing directly. Military hotline. Crisis communication channel. Conversation conducted through interpreters. Professional but tense. This is Captain Richard Stanton, Commanding Officer USS Ronald Reagan. Your destroyer has maintained weapons lock on my carrier for 17 minutes. This is unacceptable provocation. What are your intentions? Chinese response takes 3 minutes. Translation, consultation, authorization from higher command. This is PLA Navy Operational Center. Our vessel conducting legitimate defensive tracking exercise. No hostile intent. Part of routine training. Stanton's voice hardens. Pointing weapons at my ship is not routine training. Disengage your fire control radar, or we will interpret as attack preparation. Another delay. More consultation. Then, we will disengage if you commit to departing area within 2 hours. Negotiation. Crisis management. Finding off-ramp. Stanton confers with Strike Group Commander. Checks with Pentagon. Gets authorization. We will complete our transit through this area as planned. Estimated departure in 90 minutes, but your destroyer disengages immediately. Long pause. Tension unbearable. Then, acknowledged. Disengaging tracking radar. The stand down. Taiyuan's fire control radar goes silent. Weapons lock broken. Threat eliminated. Reagan's CIC watches tactical display. Chinese destroyer still present, but no longer actively targeting. Stanton orders tactical stand down. Maintain general quarters. Keep alert fighters airborne, but weapons condition relaxed. Crisis resolved. War averted. For now. What's more dangerous? Weapons locked or actual firing? Neither. The escalation process itself. The intelligence analysis. Signals intelligence intercepts reveal Chinese internal communications. Orders came from PLA Navy headquarters, approved by Central Military Commission. This wasn't rogue commander. This was deliberate operation, authorized at highest levels. Purpose: test American responses, establish precedent, normalize aggressive behavior, push boundaries incrementally. Classic salami slicing strategy. Each provocation slightly worse than last. Each time Americans don't respond kinetically, new baseline established. Next time, Chinese might maintain lock longer, might open missile doors, might conduct simulated launch. Each step pushing toward actual combat, training both sides for war. The aftermath. Reagan completes transit, departs South China Sea, mission accomplished despite confrontation. State Department issues formal protest, demands explanation, calls Chinese actions reckless and provocative. Beijing responds with counter-protest, claims U.S. violated Chinese sovereignty, calls American presence destabilizing. Both sides claim righteousness. Both sides prepare for next encounter. The tactical lessons. Pentagon conducts comprehensive after-action review. What worked, what failed, what needs improvement. Positive. Crew responded professionally. Systems functioned properly. Chain of command maintained discipline. Negative. Crisis communication channels too slow. Decision cycles too long. Need faster escalation authority. Changes implemented. Pre-authorized responses to specific threats. Faster communication with National Command Authority. Enhanced training for these exact scenarios. Because this will happen again, guaranteed. The Chinese perspective. PLA Navy analyzes operation through their lens. They maintained radar lock for 17 minutes, forced American diplomatic engagement, extracted commitment to depart area. In their view, success. They stood up to American carrier, forced negotiation, demonstrated resolve. Emboldens future operations, justifies more aggressive postures, feeds narrative of rising Chinese power challenging American dominance. Dangerous feedback loop. Each confrontation makes next one more likely. Each provocation makes war more probable. The Philippine reaction. Manila watches nervously. This occurred in their exclusive economic zone, near their territory, without their consent. Both U.S. and China conducting military operations in Philippine waters. Neither asked permission. Both claim different legal authorities. Philippines trapped between superpowers, want American protection, fear Chinese retaliation, can't choose sides without consequences. This is new normal. Small nations becoming battleground for great power competition. No good options, only different risks. The carrier vulnerability. This incident highlights growing challenge for American carrier operations. Chinese anti-ship missiles advancing rapidly. Detection ranges increasing. Lethality improving. Carriers worth $13 billion each. Irreplaceable. Loss would be strategic catastrophe, but increasingly vulnerable to precision strike. Chinese DF-26 anti-ship ballistic missiles, range 2,500 miles, maneuvering warheads, designed specifically to kill carriers. DF-21D missiles, range 1,000 miles, terminal guidance, can hit moving ships. YJ-18 cruise missiles, supersonic terminal phase, Sea skimming profile. Extremely difficult intercept. Carriers designed for different era, when enemies lacked precision strike, now facing weapons specifically built to destroy them. If you believe naval power determines Pacific dominance, type Pentagon Alert. The operational changes. After this incident, U.S. Navy modifies carrier operations in South China Sea. More escorts, expanded defensive perimeters, enhanced air patrols. Carriers don't approach Chinese claimed features as closely. Maintain greater standoff distance. Reduce exposure to land-based missiles. Submarine support increased. More underwater protection. Better early warning of Chinese submarine activity. Changes reduce risk, but also reduce effectiveness. Carriers less able to project power if operating cautiously. Classic security dilemma. Safety versus capability. Survive versus dominate. The future confrontations. Pentagon Alert projects future scenarios based on current trends. Next encounter will be worse. Chinese might maintain weapons lock longer, might conduct simulated launch, might actually open VLS doors. Each provocation tests boundaries. Each time Americans don't shoot, Chinese grow bolder. Eventually, someone miscalculates. Equipment malfunctions. Translation fails. War starts accidentally. Not because either side wants conflict, but because neither knows how to step back from brinkmanship. The quiz answer. Remember the question? How fast can carrier-based fighters respond? Answer: A. 2 minutes from alert status to airborne. Fighters kept on deck, armed, fueled, pilots ready. Catapult launches in 90 seconds, airborne within 2 minutes. Gives carriers rapid response capability, but still not fast enough against hypersonic missiles. Technology changes calculus. Speed of attack exceeds speed of defense. The critical questions. 3 issues demand answers. First, how many more radar lock incidents before someone pulls trigger? History shows escalation patterns rarely reverse without crisis. Second, can American carriers operate safely in Chinese missile range? Technology suggests no. Strategy requires yes. Third, what happens when Chinese conduct actual launch simulation? Missile doors open, seekers activate, but don't fire. Where is red line? These questions define future of Pacific naval warfare. Answers determine peace or conflict. USS Ronald Reagan survived this encounter. 17 minutes of weapons lock, no shots fired, crisis managed. But next time, different commander, different circumstances, different outcome. Pentagon Alert, where we expose the brinkmanship that nearly triggers war. Subscribe now, enable all notifications, share this analysis, because next carrier confrontation could end differently. And you'll hear about it here first. Pentagon Alert out.